Swept away, swept away, swept away.
Yo, what up, everybody? How we doing? Just wanted to come here, let you guys know we're gonna run the Benzinga Trading School live demo here with everybody in 15 minutes. It's a wild day in the markets. I know because I'm trading it. And we're going to go over the lesson from today from Mark Putrino. I'm going to show you a couple chapters that he has. We'll dip a little bit into each one just so you see how it is. I'll show you some stuff in Pro that I'm using for my trading right now and I've been using for a while. So stick around. This is a session of how you can benefit from the trading school. If you haven't joined, take a look at this session. We're going to talk about a lot of things that you're going to learn in the school, right? And any questions you have, put them in the chat. Again, keep in mind, we're all traders here. So whatever you got, questions, keep them coming. We're going to have a great session. It looks like this, the markets are acting up. So it's a great moment in time to really go through this stuff, especially because the classes with Mark Putrino are live. I'm going to show you some of that. Stick around. Okay. I'm going to show you some of the class from today when we get started here in about 16 minutes. So I'll see you folks in a little bit. Stick around.
tell you, oh, baby, it's time. You are my bread and love, baby. You are a light in the dark. It's time to tell you, you are my bread and love, baby. You are a light in the dark. It's time to tell you, oh, baby, it's time. It's time. You are, baby, you are.
All right, what up? What up, everybody? How we doing? A couple shout outs here. Some of the folks. We got Brian Houston, Brian Hoxton. What up, dude? Esther Jacobs, Gregory Rayner. What up? James, Jerry, Richard, Siri Navas. What's up? How's everybody's day going? Um, let's see. We got JR on the YouTube side. Patrick Aloha. What's up, man? How are you doing? Luntu from South Africa. Let's hear it out from for all the fellow traders out there. Let's go. It's a crazy day in the markets, folks. Um, and today we're here to talk about the Benzinga Trading School. We're going to do a live demo with you guys. What you are seeing on the back right now is Benzinga Pro. That is my main go-to platform. As a matter of fact, there was a trade I put in today. It was on HUSA, whatever you want to call it. It's like an energy company. And I found it on my scanners. I pretty much had a feeling energy was going to rip. And I bought it here pre-market. I woke up very early today to make a trade. And based on, the technicals that I've learned from the school, I pretty much decided to hold on for it. And that's one of the things that you're going to learn in the school, right? Proper entries, exits, all that sort of stuff. That's really the most important stuff, right? For you to learn this, because if you don't, once you learn this, you can apply it to your own trades, like I did with this one, HUSA. Because everybody likes to make their own trades, right? But you obviously want to make sure you're winning on those trades. As long as you're winning more than you're losing, that's would be the main goal. So let me know in the chat if you guys are good to go. Give me a 1 in the chat when you guys are ready and we can get this thing going, because I do want to show you some of the classes that we have with Mark. And just how some of the things in the trading school, we'll get into the videos and all that stuff, So just let me know in the chat once you guys are good to go. JR banking policy, what do you mean? Topics for banking policy. All right, Pally, I have dreams to be financially free. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of where it goes, right? Making money. I get where you're going. Okay, all right, let me close this here. And whenever you guys are good to go in the chat, let me know. I'll be waiting here. All right, seems like a couple of you guys are ready. I see you, Brian. Are you ready, KS? Richard's good to go. Esther's good to go. Your owner's good to go. I think we can rip it here. All right, 1 second. Let's get this thing going. All right. What up, John? How are you doing, Mr. Wallace? Gregory's good to go. All right. I think we had, so the class today we had is investment psychology. It's my favorite class. Should be talked more about.
The Rambo one, Last Blood.
Still there. So he's all right. This is live, so you know
so
the class.
the movies, and I was supposed to
1 second. I didn't know he was going to be there still live, but I guess we're going to run this live with him there. 1 second.
Meet my buddy there. After the whole thing, and I turned around, and everyone was gone. I was the only person who stayed till the end. God, it was so. Needless to say, it's not exactly a great movie there. Do I know that Renaissance Technology is basically an AI fund? I know that. And there's actually, oh, hey, Rodrigo, how's it going, dude? Here's the thing with some of these funds, like Renaissance Technology. Now, I don't know this for a fact, right? Because I'm not, I'm not a client of theirs. I don't see their official statements, but I know enough people in the industry to know that would feel confident saying this. When a place like that came along, or when like a long-term capital management came along, they had things that worked. But like in any business, when something works, it invites competition, and all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. It works until it doesn't. So a lot of these firms, like a Renaissance Technology, from what I've heard, and this is hearsay, so I can't guarantee it. They're making more money by selling their order flow now than they are by doing their actual returns. And that was I heard that about AQR. All right, so okay, so look, we can see some of their performance here. So we'll see if I'm right. All right, so what will we look at? A 1-year return. All right, so since inception, 2.5% a year. That doesn't sound very good. Going back over the last 7 years. All right, so let's see. We always want to base things, well, in general, SPY is the benchmark of choice. So let's see. All right, so it's gone from 203 to, so it's more than a double, even with the sell-off. And look what these guys are. Momentum style. All right, so it looks like they're pretty good defensive. Maybe these are structured to be defensive. But don't forget, too, this is probably before fees. Oh, wait, show benchmarks. It's not letting us show the benchmarks. Anyway, I'm just saying, great book, right? When Genius Failed, about long-term capital, where you guys have probably heard of the Black-Scholes model. Well, they literally had Black and Scholes working there. And it was a spectacular blow because they got over leveraged, and what worked until it didn't. And I remember, that goes back to that was like in the 90s. And I remember I had an intern. He was asking me, like, what should I write do a paper on? And I distinctly remember this. I distinctly remember this, saying there was an article in the Wall Street Journal where the article was basically, it was an interview with the guy who ran Ford. No, it wasn't Ford. It was Ford's CFO. And basically what the guy said was, these guys came in here trying to get money to manage, and they basically told us that, well, we're too smart and you're not going to understand what our strategy is. So the guy was like, look, I may not be a Nobel Prize winning economist, but you know, I am the CFO of Ford Motor. Yeah. So anyway, that's the thing, man. This is not math, and if you try to figure it out with too much math, you're not gonna get it. It's never gonna click with you because a lot of this stuff is irrational. Um, all right, so let me go through some of these energy stocks here, and someone's hitting me up saying something's going on here. And what could we see here? Is it a possible short squeeze? Could be. Let's see. Let's see what the short interest ratio is, hopefully. Houston American Energy. Let's just see what the short interest is there. All right, so it's only 10%. That's not small, but that's not huge either. But it could freak some people out. What happens in a short squeeze, and this could have been this here could have been a short squeeze, right? What happens is when people, let me explain what a traditional short squeeze is. You borrow, if you think a stock is going to go down, you can short it. You borrow shares from someone, and if you read in the fine print of your brokerage statements, it says in there that if you have your shares in a margin account, you'll lend them out to someone. So someone wants to sell HUSA short, they call up their broker and they say, hey, can I borrow, I don't know, 1,000 shares to sell short? So someone else out there says, they're not asked, they just know, all right, we're going to take the shares out of your account and, whatever, blah, 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 blah. We're going to loan them to these guys and they're going to sell them. What happens is if the price starts going higher, right, some of the people that loaned out their shares start looking at it thinking, oh, gee, I like these prices. I think I'm going to sell my HUSA. It's up 57%. So they sell their shares, and then the brokers has to start calling in the shares that they lent to the short sellers. So if enough people are selling this long, meaning they're not selling it short, they're selling it long, the broker has to go out and contact all these short sellers and say, hey, man, we got to call your shares in. And it's done by some kind of random allocation thing. And there's nothing you can do about it. When you get called in, you're forced to buy your shares. So that starts this self-fulfilling prophecy, or I shouldn't even say it's self-fulfilling, but it starts this like snowball effect that gets things going higher and higher and higher. So now if I was trading this HUSA, I would say, well, the first thing I would do is I'd look at I mean, 10% isn't really that big of a short position. Usually you don't see squeezes until you get up to like 20%, 30% short. But here's how I'd probably play this one. Not knowing, not knowing much, but look at where we are here at 590. So that's a resistance level. If we go back here to April 18th, the high trade is 578, which is in 12 cents, right? We could see it was resistance back here. So, this thing is either going to probably break this resistance and continue to skyrocket higher, or it's going to fail at resistance and end up going into a pretty nasty sell-off this afternoon. I would think those are the probable, obviously there's no guarantee, but I just think that, that or that is more probable than that. But again, we see our levels, and I mean this has to be a short squeeze, unless they came up with like some new product that was the greatest thing since sliced bread. All right, so let's see. Well, first of all, let's see if there's any news on this HUSA. So the stock trends across social media platforms. All right. Sometimes, I mean, we're not going to find it, but just to show you guys something you can do here. I mean, when I say we're not going to find it, I just mean I would be highly doubtful that there's any commentary. But every publicly traded stock has some type of investor relations department. So let's see if we can find HUSA's investor relations. Houston American Energy, SEC, NASDAQ. But these guys don't want to be found. Let's see. Houston American Energy. Usually, like their investor relations pages come up right away. I wonder. I hope this isn't a bad sign. Huh? That's pretty bizarre. Houston America. Wow, this is really, is it just me or is this like really bizarre? All right, let me go to Google here. I'm going to just go to HoustonAmerican.com. All right, here we go. Finally. All right, so I like doing this. I like going to these websites. Sometimes you can find out some pretty interesting stuff pretty, pretty easily. You don't have to be intimidated. You could spend an hour on a company's website and learn more than you could possibly even think. All right, so now this is a little concerning right off the bat. So this is their most recent investor presentation is from 2 years ago. So I don't know why it would be so out of date. Let's see what the latest news is. All right, so maybe this is what's driving this. Oh, look at that. You can't even get the news. Well, it would be under the SEC. Oh. Well, it doesn't really. So maybe this is the news that got this thing off to a little bit of a a little bit of a short squeeze going on here. Houston Energy announced spudding the first well, whatever that means. 1 for 20, 1 for 12 reverse stock split. Yeah. This is kind of weird. I mean, it's weird that a company would go. I mean, look at this. In the last, I don't know, 3 years, they've had 3 press releases. Let's see, SEC filing. This is 10K. Quarterly filing. This just came out. Let's take a look at this. So this is going to be all their earnings. This is the type of stuff that fundamental analysts look at. They go through all this stuff, and it's almost like forensic accounting. They kind of see if they can find stuff that like Wall Street doesn't recognize. I can tell you right off the bat that this is going to be a really complicated one because it's an energy company. It's got a lot of strange things going on. But my point is you shouldn't be intimidated. These guys seem like they're a little bit less responsive to the investing public than other people because they don't put out that much stuff, it looks like. So I guess they had a little bit of a news. They could have got a little bit of a short squeeze here going, but I don't know. It probably doesn't look like it's going to follow through. But this is what I would do. I would say, all right, well, here's the thing. If not having a position in this, I would tell myself, all right, you know what? If it gets to 6, it's probably going to keep going higher. So maybe I buy it at 6. If it stays below this important 590 level, I think the odds are it's going to go down. So I'm not going to touch it. Oh, our class is live on YouTube right now. So be nice. All right. Well, I guess everyone can, give me accolades if you want. But let's look. Today is our lesson on investor psychology, right? And well, I guess this isn't probably a good example because there's a good chance there's news there. But just let's just take a look at any company. Let's look at Apple. See, if we go back to that thing where if you try to figure this out just with math, it's not gonna work, right? Apple is up, has gone from 137 to 150. All right, so what's that? 7 or 8% or 9% in 3 days. What has changed in 3 days over at Apple? Did they find like some buried treasure chest in the backyard somewhere? Like what has happened in the last 3 days that has caused this stock to go from 137 to 150? Let's go back to May. What happened that caused this stock to go from 150 down to where it found this bottom around 138? Investor perceptions. That's the only thing that's changed. Nothing truly fundamentally has changed in the company. It's just investor perceptions. How is it that right here in September of 20, Apple has the exact same value that it does in October of 21, or last week. So last week, Apple had the same valuation that it did in August of 2020. And look at what's changed. Oil prices are higher, different presidential administration, inflation, war in Ukraine. Yet somehow, miraculously, Apple has the same value, had the same value last week as it did all the way back then. So that just goes to show you how much of this stuff is driven by investor perceptions. Nothing really at Apple has changed that much from March to here, as far as I know. I don't know anyone who works there or anything like that, but this is investor perceptions, right? And when we look at a lot of these, like Reddit stocks, these. I saw AMC was trading up on the movie. Let me see what they're doing. Yeah, like this stock is, it's not where I'd have my money. But like, look at this, right? Look at this. What made the question is not why is AMC? Oh, that's kind of interesting. Look at that. It's right where it was when it started. Talk about a round trip, right? But what I would not argue that. I would not be saying why is AMC all the way down to 15. I would be saying, what made AMC ever get up to 70 in the first place? This stock never should have been up there. I even remember the CEO wrote in their quarterly letter, don't buy our stock. It's way overvalued. This is human emotion. This is not logic. This is not reason buying this stock. These are people, like at the store on Black Friday, like when the Cabbage Patch Kids came out or whatever the most recent, hot new toy is, or when a new phone comes out or whatever. This is not reason. This is irrationality. So, moral of the story is, if you try to figure out the market without understanding how important of an element psychology is, you're not going to have a very successful time. We can see here, $30. Why was there support at 30? Well, people like buying stocks at nice round levels. 30 is a nice round level. Why was there resistance at 30? Oh, well, people who bought it After it went lower, assuming they didn't sell it, we're like, oh, now I'm losing money. I want to get out. I shouldn't have done this. So they try to sell it at the same price they bought it at. If there's enough of these sell orders, guess what happens? The level converts to resistance. Human psychology. That's what you have to understand. Levels that were support can become resistance because of buyer's remorse. People bought, it goes lower. They say they made a mistake. They want to get out. They place their sell orders where they had their buy orders and resistance forms. So we see that on a lot of different charts. A diamond in the rough. I don't know about that. I know I spend plenty of time in the rough when I play golf. So some comments from the morning class. I don't know what happened this morning. I forget, man. I just kind of go on improvisational mode. Must be my jazz music background. All right, so let's take a look through the markets here before we wrap things up. And we got to watch SPY. It's, this important 14,412 level. These markets go in, they're like staircases. They don't go straight up, So we were down here, is this the bottom? I don't know. I don't know, but we don't need to know if this is the bottom. Who cares? I know a lot of you said, oh, when we break 397, that's time to get long. We got up to 405. What happened there? Oh, time to maybe close out our positions and wait to see what happens. Turns out we move ahead. Now we're at our next stop here, like 412, 413. If this holds, our next stop could be up to here, right? So the market is going to tell us whether this is the bottom or not. We don't really need to know. We just need to watch how it progresses through these different levels of various importance. So you can see 430 was important. 412 was important. So a big part of this is going to come out of the technology sector, right? And now look at this. So there's one thing to watch in the market. It's this. This is the technology sector. It's the biggest sector in the market. We're sitting right on the 141 level, 141.10. And this was support here in March. It was support in April. So, if this thing starts to work its way higher, we can expect another leg up in the market. But if it doesn't break through, over the next few days, I think we start to head south. So probably the main number one thing to watch in the market right now, or what I'd be watching, is this, because I think the whole market is going to be driven off of what happens in this tech sector. And it's sitting right on this, it's like right on a tightrope. It's just a matter of like, which way is it going to go? Is it going to be like, like one of these, come right back down? We shall see. So that's the tech sector, and we'll go take a look at the healthcare sector. So that looks pretty good, down today, but we're still in our uptrend. And then our communication services sector looks okay. Consumer discretionary looks okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking, you watch XLK. If this thing looks like it's going to start to break, maybe that's when you go into some of the triple Qs like Rodrigo was trading. Are you still long those, Rodrigo? Or did you get out? Those triple Qs are they're great. They move 3 times the amount of the NASDAQ 100. So basically, if this thing starts to move higher, this will move higher too, but by a much bigger percentage, probably by about 3 times as much. Like you'll notice on Friday, this thing was up 10%. So let's see. So we got a 4%, 8%, and 10%. So that's like that's a year. That's like a year's return for an institutional money manager. 20%, 25%, and that came from this, which was a nice move, but not nearly the same in terms of a percentage basis. I still in the wrong time zone. Are we running out of time? Oh gosh, it's 1:30 already. Huh. He's making Benzinga some money selling them on YouTube. I hope so, Donut Sacker. Mr. Miyagi of trading. Well, all right. I guess I'll have to end on why Karate Kid 2 is probably the most disappointing movie ever, because we all know Karate Kid 1, right? What's his face? What was that guy's name? Ralph Macchio. He gets his ass beat by all these like tough karate guys, and he started his studies with Mr. Miyagi, who teaches him the real secret of karate. And by the way, speaking of karate, I've actually been on crutches for the last 3 days because I sprained my ankle kicking a bag in my karate class. But anyway, remember they go back to Okinawa, and it turns out that the reason why Mr. Miyagi left is because he had his big falling out with his brother over a girl. And so the whole movie builds up to this climax where Mr. Miyagi and his brother are going to fight, right? They're each karate masters. And then at the end of the movie, they make up. And it's like, are you kidding me? It's like the whole movie builds up to that. All right. So anyway, let's play Magic level going forward. Just watch this 412 level for Spy. I mean, I would say if you're as long as Spy stays above 412, you should be good. Starts to break down, then think about selling some stuff. But, as long as this holds, it looks like we got some upside in some of the sectors. So I think we're going to push ahead over the next few days. I don't think I ever made it to the very end, actually. All right, Matty B. No problem, bro. All right, class. I'll check you guys out tomorrow.
All right, folks. So that was pretty much part of the class today. The class began at about 12 p.m. Eastern, and it finishes at 1 p.m. So, but it looks like Mark extended it this time. So that was the live class. I'm going to show you guys where you can find the recordings, all that sort of stuff, really quick here. So on the top of the header, you could say, right? You see there's something that says video library. So once you click there to the video library, it's basically going to take you to the recording, right? So you can see the recordings there from 9 in the morning. We have classes from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. And then from there, we have another session from 12 to 1. So this was the 12 to 1 session, which is, Q&A, that sort of stuff as well, and other topics within the lesson. But Mark extended it because he does like hanging out with the students, right? You could say it's a pretty tight family there. And I've met many of the folks, well, a couple of them, and it's just great. It's a great energy, I can tell you. I always try to, at least if I have time, pop in there in the 7 a.m. session before, things get pretty busy at 9. So if you guys are new to trading, if you're trying to learn how to trade, and you're trying to find some guidance, right? And reading the charts is ultimately the most important thing when it comes to trading. If you cannot read a chart, it does not matter if you're trading options, crypto, penny stocks, swinging, scalping, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. You're going to lose money right away, because if you can't read a chart, you're not going to be on the green. You need to be you need to win more trades than you lose, right? And for that, reading charts is just very important. And I'll tell you that even my options trading got a lot better once I started really just getting Mark's message when it comes to understanding the language that the markets are talking in, right? So the chart, look at it this way: the chart is trying to tell you something, and you might you might agree with the message, you might think you understand the message, right? And you also have to recognize sometimes you'll get it wrong, right, as a trader. But you have to do your best to understand the message that the chart is trying to give you, right? So if a chart is if you see a chart that is strong, you would have to kind of look at it on the time, but basically the chart is going to try to tell you something, and you make your decision from there, if it's I'm holding or I'm selling, whatever it is. But let's just get here really quick on the classes, right? So you have the video library, you see the investment psychology, that's the class from the morning. And you do have, so once you click home, you can actually see your schedule, from day to day. Like Wednesday, you have chapter 7, market principles, analysis and sentiment. Thursday, investment strategy and trading systems. See what else you have. Friday, you have office hours, 2 hours from 7 to 9. And Monday, so you can pretty much plan out, right? And here's the thing, right? If you are literally just, very new, I think it's going to help you a lot to just pop in here on Monday. Join today. You can join for $7. I know that you could do a lot of stuff with $7. You could go buy a coffee, so like, a burger, whatever. But I can tell, or a Netflix subscription, but none of that stuff is really going to help you make money. This is really something. Look, I know times are tough. Okay. I talk to people on the phones. People really need to make some extra money right now. All right. Prices are going through the roof. We have to be realistic, and learning how to trade and knowing how to trade is just such a huge skill set. Even if you're shorting the markets or going long or trading, scalping, whatever, it's just such a great skill set to have. You don't have to quit your job to do it. And I think, okay, hold up one second, guys. All right, hold up. I got some news here. All right, folks. We brought the man himself here. Let's see if we can get him on. We have the man of the hour, guys. We're hearing him, right? Mark Putrino, former hedge fund manager. Let's go. So we have Mark in the building. I know for sure he's there.
I'm here. How's it going?
Yo, what's up, Mark?
Not much, dude. How are you?
Great class today. Always helpful. And I think it's just really helpful, whenever you have, especially for new traders that are just trying to figure this whole thing out. They're trying, or other people that are just getting into the market, and they're just thinking like, I have to make some money right now because, XYZ. Understandable, right? I think it's just a great skill set, something you teach people how to do right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, it's great to be able to like just sit in front of a screen and make money. But it's not as easier said than done. But that being said, I don't think it's as complicated as a lot of people think. If I look at some of these other trading schools or whatever are out there, they promise these like secret systems or these holy grails or so forth and so on. And it doesn't really work like that in the world that I come from, in the institutional world. I mean, what we're doing is we're focusing on the stuff that the classes focus on. We have our fundamentals. Like, I could share the screen right now, if that's cool.
Yeah. Do you want to share your screen there?
Yeah, I'll just share this real.
All right.
All right. So, so it's all about understanding which price levels are important, right? And for example, this is XLK. This is our technology sector, and this could be like the only thing we look at because it gives so many lessons. All right. One of the main things we teach is that there's certain price levels in the market that are more important than others. It's really just that simple. And sometimes we know why the levels are important and sometimes we don't. But look at this. Why did the market find a bottom? And why did it turn? Did it happen because of something Jerome Powell said? Did it happen because of, Ukraine or something in oil? Who knows? I don't know. As a trader, what I'm going to say is market's going down. I'm looking back. Oh, wait a second. There was support around this level here. Guess where we found support again? Literally like to within days, a year later, same level. For some reason, 131 is an important level. I don't know why. I don't know why it's not 132 or 129 or 128, but we don't need to know why. Now look at this. Why has this rally stalled out or this rebound stalled out? It's because of a price level. The technology sector, biggest sector in the market, that's what this ETF here, XLK, tracks, moved higher and it stalled out at this price level, 141. 141 is an important level. Why? I don't know. But back here, it was support. We sold off. We found a bottom around here. Goes higher, support again. So now think about this. There's a lot of people who bought right in here who held on. And now that the market is lower, they're like, oh man, this sucks. I shouldn't have bought it. I want to get out, but I don't want to take a loss. So what they do is they place their sell orders at the same level they bought at. So we see this a lot in the market, Rodrigo. Support turns into resistance. Same thing happened up here. Support becomes resistance. So knowing where these important levels are is going to help you identify where we have trend changes in the market. And that, is ultimately where the big money comes from, is knowing how to identify the trends. Like a lot of the students in class are into AMD, advanced micro, right? I think you might have been in this one too. Same thing, important level 102. Now it looks like we're breaking out. This could set the stage up for another move higher, but let me put that there. So right at 102. Okay, so support. It's not a coincidence that on May 17th, AMD stalled out at 102. It's not a coincidence that the same thing happened on May 18th. It's not a coincidence that it happened on May 19th. It stalled out at this resistance because this level was support and it's converted into resistance. So now if we break through, what does that tell us? Well, the sellers that created the resistance are gone, and that sets the stage for a move higher. So knowing where these important price levels are is probably the most main and number one important thing to know about trading. And it doesn't matter what your style is, because it's knowing where the levels are can help you get the direction of the market. And then the direction, then different people have different styles. Some people like ETFs, some people like stocks, some people like options. So so levels. It's like, it becomes redundant, but you can look at pretty much any chart and just see it. I mean, I don't know, just Apple, right? Resistance or support. Will it become resistance? If Apple gets up here, probably a little bit. We could see this clear resistance level up here at the top. So, actually, let me show you this, because I know there's a lot of talk about energy. And this shows you how sometimes these important levels can stay intact for a long time, like literally sometimes years. So look at what's going on over here with our energy stocks. This is the energy ETF XLE, and it had clear resistance around 78 and spent about a month, trading at it, but now it's finally breaking through. So if you had bought this and, you were down here thinking like, well, where should I sell it? Well, 78 would be a good price to think about, because that was a resistance level. Then if it starts to break through and go higher, well, then you just kind of jump back in. Let me just give you one more, and then I'll send you back to the screen, Rodrigo. CVS, right? Look at this one. This just is another example of how these levels can stay intact for a long time. So we're going to go back to July and August of 2015. CVS gets to 111, rolls over and goes lower. Okay. 7 years later, the company reports its earnings on this day. Where did it hit resistance? Same level as 7 years earlier. So say you bought CVS down around 100 and you say to yourself, I'm going to sell it if it gets to 115. Well, in this case, you would have missed it because you didn't know that there was resistance at 111. What you should have done is say, all right, I'm going to sell it if it gets to 110. Not as good as selling it at 115, but it's better than just missing it and watching it go lower. And then we can see also CVS like support becomes resistance.
Really quick here, Mark, just want to give a shout out here to Murray, newest member here of the trading school. Welcome to the family, Murray.
Oh, thank you, Murray. And, we can see we got this clear bottom here. So you look at pretty much any chart and you can see how some price levels are more important than others. And it's almost like a way,
Right.
like, look at this resistance, 82. So 82 is resistance from December of 16 through December of 18 for 2 years.
Right.
Then
And,
it
and,
becomes support in July of 21.
and the thing is, Mark, that you don't complicate any of this stuff for the folks, right? Because typically people will, like all these gurus and things like that, they'll want to complicate everything. But really in your case, you really just simplify everything and you get down to basics. And honestly, that's just the best way to trade because you're not doing all this complicated stuff. And you've traded with multi-billionaires, man. Steve Cohen, which ended up with like 40 billion at SAC fund, Mario Gabelli. These are like legendary traders that are well known around the world. And the fact that you traded with them, it's really good to have that sort of instructor, not just anybody. And look at me, I'm a guru. It's like you have a clear background. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't take lightly to gurus in our class. We like to consider ourselves students. None of this like we're warriors or we're gurus. It's about learning. It's just about understanding the levels, understanding the basics, understanding the fundamentals. What levels are important, what's the momentum, what's the trend, and then investment psychology. So, a lot of these people, I think they think it is more complicated than they realize it needs to be. I mean, if you can understand the concept of supply and demand, you can understand how to read charts. You know what I mean? If
Right.
you can understand the difference between in the retail market, a buyer's market and a seller's market, you can read charts, right? You want to sell your house and it's a seller's market. Hey man, you can just chill out and wait because the buyers are going to be coming to you. It's a seller's market. If it's a buyer's market, and you want to sell your house, well, then you're going to have to go out and look for a buyer. If you could understand that, you could understand how to read charts.
Yeah. And I don't know if you're looking at this thing, Husa, but Husa's taking a good rip here. And ultimately, man, I don't really know what it is. A lot of people have been asking me about this, like in the chat, the people from social media, I guess, like, people that are, trading and, these platforms. But the only thing that I saw here that happened today was that what you said that, they expressed interest in, some place in Colombia. I think they have so this is an oil company and they have like, they have an office or an operation in Colombia for oil, that sort of stuff, crude oil, natural gas. But I don't know really exactly what it is. It looks like it's been mentioned on Reddit with a couple of names there like GME, AMC, BBIG.
Well, it's a I think people perceive of it as, and maybe it is, as a short squeeze because it had that big move up in March. And I also think that keep in mind it was a penny stock on Friday. Now it's above 5. But when things are below 5 and they're penny stocks, they tend to, especially if they get caught up in one of those chat rooms somewhere, you can really see these things rip higher. So that could have something to do with it as well. But with all that being said, Rodrigo, I need to sign off and get ready for some meetings I got later. But yeah, it's good talking to you, and thank you everybody for tuning in. And hopefully we'll see you in the class. And I guess Rodrigo will stay if he have any more questions that he can answer.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot,
Mark,
Rodrigo.
yeah, thanks for coming in here, man, and everything. And I'll see you in the class tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, cool. Talk to you then.
All right. Thanks, man. So that's Mark Putrino, former hedge fund manager there, traded with Steve Cohen, Mario Gabelli. He wasn't scheduled to anything to come in here or anything, but he always likes to come out and help and everything. And he is the chief educator at the trading school. I really think this is somebody that everybody should take. It doesn't matter, ultimately just look at this as a tool, as a way to make money, right? You could do it different ways. You could try to go, open a business or try to, hustle out or pick another job or something. But if you want to make money trading, um, or if you want to learn about it, how you can do it from where you have your computer, right? Or your phone, really, because I mean, I trade on my phone. I make all my trades there, is what I mean. But I do all my analysis on my laptop, and I use my Benzinga Pro, just like you're seeing it right now. I caught this. I caught Husa on the scanner today in the morning. I did put in my entry there, 434. Um, but I was looking at all the issues around energy today. I didn't want to find out where the market was going to go, up or down, because it just had a pretty strong rally. So oil stock seemed hot, and it was on the scanner. But look, there's a lot of stocks that are running. There's MULN. This is another one that's running. This is a meme stock too. Husa, I didn't know it was a meme stock. It was not a meme stock when I bought it there. It became a meme stock somewhere along those lines. And I don't know. This happens a lot, man. Like I'll buy a stock and then I bought Robinhood when it wasn't a meme stock and it turned into a meme stock. It happens to me a lot. For CEI, I bought it before it was a meme stock. Um, Same thing. So you just, I mean, it happens. I guess it just happens, right? Um, but this is Benzinga Pro. This is a great tool. This is comes with the trading school, FYI, so which is $7 for 7 days. But let's just carry on here with the school so we can get this right out of the way. You have the trading school, right? You have the homepage. That's where we are right now. Whenever you do have a live class, you click live. It takes you to the live class. That's where Mark was pretty much given his class, right? Then if you do want the recordings, you click on video library. Then you have the chat rooms. That's where things get pretty good. Hazel, which platform? Benzinga Pro. It comes with the school. We'll get back to the trade and we'll get back to the pro thing too. But we do need to go over this stuff though. All right, so this is the chat room. This is the chat rooms, I will say, just for the trading school members, only for trading school members, right? And you can see that you have one, which is student trade ideas. This is where all the students are sharing their research, talking to each other, going over certain trade ideas, that sort of stuff. And it's a great place to ask questions. It's not a place where the community is great, I can tell you. So it's okay to ask questions in this chat room. It's a great environment to learn and to make money with Mark, right, as well. So you being part of that community, that's something you'll get every day. Then you have the student plan project chat. I believe this is some sort of trading plan, trading model that the students are working on, and you have full access there. A couple helpful things there as well. Then you have a chat room called Questions for Mark. So if you cannot go to any of the live Q&A sessions that we do have Monday to Friday, if you can't go for any reason, maybe you're working and you have to watch the recordings, no worries. You just go to this chat room called Questions for Mark, and then you put in your question there. And everybody that's unable to go to the live classes or the live Q&As has this chat room for that. Or if you have a question for Mark, ask it there. Question about anything in trading, right? All right, and then you have Mark's trade ideas. This is Mark's trade ideas. This is where I get some of my trades, okay? I'm gonna show you one here that he talked about a while ago. Just Kimberly Clark, but I'll show you when he put it up here at the top, right here. So I want you to look at this because I took this trade with options and it was monster. All right, look at the date, right? 502, right? That's I get this month, the beginning of this month on the 2nd, and he says this Kimberly, we talked about it. It looks like it may head lower, breaking short-term support and trading into gap. I'm going to show you the chart here so you see it. That's the Kimberly Clark chart that he put out on May 2nd. May 2nd. Okay. All right. And then I mean, this was last Wednesday. So this dropped about $8, $9 or more. This dropped all the way to 127. So from 138. So this dropped like $10. It literally filled that gap. So that wasn't, I mean, I just followed Mark's suggestion there. I bought my own puts because I trade options, but for me, I really need someone that just gives me the levels and then I can trade around those levels, right? So you'll get trade ideas from Mark in this chat room. Then you have general discussions where you can have all the general discussions that you want with everybody. Community support, if you have any community support, anything like that. Class files, quizzes, a lot of important stuff there. And if you do want to have alerts here, all you have to do is click on this bell, and it's gonna this is what I do. Where is this? Mark's trade ideas. I click on it. The bell is yellow. That means that whenever Mark will post a trade idea or an update, that means that I'm gonna get like a pop sound, right? So back to Pro here. I'm going to show you a few things. This comes with the trading school. So you guys know, okay, it's $7 for 7 days. Try it out. If you like it, if you feel this is part of a community that you want to be with, then you're welcome. You can come anytime. And, after the 7 days, it's $14.97. It's going to stay at that price at 70% off, Memorial Day special. And you can trade with Mark. You can trade with everybody else there, learn, use these tools. All right, so this is the scanner. This is something very important. I do a lot. I go in here and I schedule it for the week, and I basically look at what are the events that are going to be happening today. Who's going to talk? Is the Fed going to talk? Do we have PMI numbers? What's the I really like knowing how the core of the economy is doing, how the numbers are, the raw data, right? The raw data, and that's why I look at this here, and I look at what's happening in other places as well. Okay, because I know Germany had a really, really high PMI or some really high, I think it was like inflation number, and those guys had a lot in the 20s, and type in inflation there. Okay, so the good thing with Pro, you can see that you can be literally looking at the economic calendar, and at the same time, you could be looking at a stock, that maybe you want to keep an eye on for whatever reason, right? You can always just be switching it over. You can always have that details tab there with you. And you can actually open more if you want, right? This is just, I only have 2, but I think 4 is the max. Let's see, this is the movers tool. And I really like this one because this is where I actually found this trade today for HUSA. I went into the energy sector specifically, and I typically have this at 2 billion market cap and $10, but today there was something about today. And we saw what happened there in the morning. It was pre-market. So then pre-market, you would see HUSA was there, and I was specifically trying to do energy, but you can use this and take out energy. It scans the whole market. You can use it right now in the regular session and filter it by any sort of category that you want: industrials, healthcare, financials, energy, consumer staples, discretionary, pretty much everything, right? And that way you can find the winners in each sector, right? So you can find the best stocks in the consumer staples, in discretionary, in communications, financials, whatever it is that you want to trade, you find the top winners, and you can do it with a time frame that's amazing, which is 1 week, 1 month, 3 months. I like to do 3 months. Obviously, these have been some crazy 3 months, 6 months. So, but you can still find stocks that have been solid and consistent, and that's why you have that scanner. Great place to find trades and swings, and if you want to do some sort of other types of option trades, whatever, you can do that. And if you want to trade the trend, right? In that sense, if you want to day trade or something like that, just put the session and you see what's happening, what's moving today. We can see HUSA is right there. It's on 4, but there are other stocks here. TXMD looks like some pharma company. I don't trade biotechs. Let's see, Mana Capital. I'm not sure what this is. Maybe a SPAC. Jan. What is Jan 1? 69%. All right, what's the news here? Company announced it sold GeoTrack to Spire Technologies for 13 million. So they sold part of their business, I guess. All of the assets and none of the liabilities. Okay, so I guess it's good that they sold them. I guess that's pretty bullish for it. I mean, I wouldn't really buy a stock because I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, I felt a lot more comfortable with this trade with HUSA just based, because it's on energy, that sort of stuff. you have Mullen right there. They're both trading almost the same, 50, 54%. Who knows? They could be the runner, the new memes. I mean, you never know. I'm just trying to see what else I can find here. You know, it's another stock I wanted to look at. This guy's just sued Facebook, IMMR, for haptic feedback. Okay, so you can see that Pro can pretty much give you a lot of flexibility when it comes to what you want to trade, what you're looking at, and doing technicals and everything live right on your session. There's a bunch of other tools here that you can use. We do have some more stuff here. Everything you see on the right, these are all tools that you can use. And you just have to click on it, you know, customize it. You can have a news feed that you can literally filter by your watch list, or you can filter it by exclusives, like Benzinga exclusives. And that's like when Benzinga does PRs. So that means that a company comes to Benzinga and pretty much wants to release news, and they want to do it with Benzinga. So if you have Benzinga Pro, just I guess by default, you'll get it right away, like almost immediate there. But if you are trying to, you know, it will be on another brokerage per se, like any other brokerage that we release the news to, and it might take maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes. I don't know, just because of the delay of lag of transfer of data. But since this is the Benzinga Pro platform, you do have that exclusive, immediate like alert when this happens in the scanner. How do you customize it? You open the news thing on the left side. It says news top left, and then you click categories, and then you select exclusives, right? So all the companies out there that want to do PRs, they do it with Benzinga, and then these are the exclusives. So I know people that literally just trade the exclusives, and I know that there's been a lot of good winners there. BBIG, before it blew up, they did something like at $2. A ton of them. All right, so that's the scanner, right? You can filter this, you know, the other thing that you can filter this by. I'm going to show you this. You can filter this, or where is this? All right, advanced. Okay, I'll show you something really cool now. All right, let's make sure that there's nothing else. All right. So you can actually, let's say, for example, if you want to buy companies that are doing an acquisition, I typed acquisition there. One second. All right. So you can see that I typed acquisition. So everything that comes out in PRs that says acquisition, it's going to come up here. And you have the and or not and not functionality or, right? So if I wanted to include acquisition and not to include earnings, because I don't want somebody to talk about this in their earnings. I want to get the news that somebody did the acquisition right away, right? So you can pretty much filter your way so that you can filter this to the bottom line. You can get creative with it. This is something that I do have customized, but I have it written down. I don't have it here, but this is something that you can play around with on certain things that you might want to find. So we've been here for quite some time, guys. So I definitely appreciate, you know, your time here and everything. If you guys do want to join, it's $7 for 7 days. That means that literally for 7 days, you can try this and for $7 and trade with Mark, learn with him in the trading school so that you can actually be part of the community. And, you know, you get pro, all this stuff. If you have questions, just send an email. We put it in the chat. But yes, thanks a lot, guys, for being here. We'll see you guys in the school tomorrow. If you have questions, reach out. The link will be in the chat. We'll see you guys later.